And good morning to everyone. So in this video, we will be solving the weekly contest 492. So let's start with the question number 1, which is lead code 3861, that is minimum capacity box. So in this question, we are given an integer array capacity, which denotes the capacity of ith box. So and an integer item size. So this integer is representing the size of an item. So and what we have to do is we have to return the index of the box with the minimum capacity which can store the item, right? And if multiple such boxes exist, we have to return the smallest index. So let's see the example and try to understand the approach. So here we are given four boxes with capacity 1, 5, 3 and 7, and what we have to do is we have to return, and our item size is 3. So we have to return the smallest box. We have to return the smallest box which can fit this item. So we'll be starting scanning from here. So will this item fit in this box? No, it won't be fit. Will it fit in this? Yes, it will be fitting in this. So our current box size is 5 and its index is 1. Then we move to the next box. So yeah, this will also fit. So is this box smaller than the current box? Yes, this is smaller, so we'll be updating it. So our current box size is 3 and index is 2. Then we move to the next box. This will also fit, but it is not smaller than the current box. So at the end our answer is this second box, so we'll return 2. Let's see the next example. Here we are given four boxes, each with size 3, 5, 4 and 3, and our item size is 2. So we'll be starting scanning from here. So will this box fit? Yes. So the size of this box is 3 and index is 0. This will also fit the item, but its size is greater than the current box. Again this will also fit, but its size is greater than the current box. This will also fit, its size is equal to the current box, but we have to return the one that comes the first. So we'll be returning index is equal to 0. Now let's see the last example. So here we are given a box with capacity 4 and item size capacity is 5. So we won't be able to fit this item in this box, so we'll be returning -1. So let's see the constraints. So the number of boxes that we are given will be 100, and each box has the capacity can be up to 100 and item size can be also up to 100. So let's see the code part. So what we have done is we are taking an variable answer, that is the size of the box that can store. So answer is equal to size of the box that can store the item, and index is -1. Then we iterate over each box and check if the capacity of the box is greater than or equal to the item size, and if this capacity is less than the current answer, right? Then what we do is we'll update the size of the answer box and the index, and at the end after checking all the boxes we'll be returning our index. So time complexity is big of n and space complexity is big of 1. So let's move to the next question. So the next question is lead code 3862, find the smallest balanced index. So in this also we are given an integer array nums and an index I. An index I is said to be balanced if the sum of all the previous elements of that index is equal to the product of all the elements after that index. That is, sum of from 0 to I minus 1 is equal to product of I plus 1 to n minus 1. If this condition satisfies, then the index I is said to be balanced, right? And if there are no elements to the left of the, so suppose if I is equal to 0, so there is no element over here, then the sum is considered to be 0. And if suppose I is equal to n minus 1, then there is no further element, then the product is considered to be 1. No further element, then the product is considered as 1. And we have to return an integer denoting the smallest balanced index, right? We have to return the smallest balanced index, and if no such balanced index exists, we have to return -1. So let's see some examples to understand it more clearly. So we are given 2, 1 and 2. So first we will check this element. So sum is 0 and product is 2. It is not balanced. Then we check this one. Sum is 2, product is 2. So we get our answer. So we return answer as 1. Next we are given 2, 8, 2, 2, 5. So if you'll see here, sum is 0, product is 40, 80, 160, not balanced. Then this sum is 2, product is 20, not balanced. Then we'll check this element. Sum is 10, product is 10. So if sum is product are equal, so our index is 2. So we get return the index. So if you see the constraints is the array length can be up to 10 ki power 5. Means either we have to think of some approach of big of n or n log n, right? And each element can be up to 10 ki power 9. So let's see the approach. So in the constraints we are given that nums of I can be up to 10 ki power 9. Each element can be up to 10 ki power 9 and the length of the array is up to 10 ki power 5. So if you'll see, so we can have 10 ki power 5 times 10 ki power 9, right? So the maximum sum that we can achieve is 10 ki power 9 plus 10 ki power 9 up to 10 ki power 5 times. So the total maximum sum that we can get is 10 ki power 14. This is the maximum sum we can get. And what is can be the maximum product? Maximum product is, so one element is 10 ki power 9 into 10 ki power 9 into up to 10 ki power 5 times. So the total product is 10 ki power 9 into 10 ki power 5, which is which is too big to store in either int or long, right? So we can't be able to store this product. So we will be facing the problem of overflow of integer or overflow of long. So what we have to do is we have to check the condition that sum is equal to product, right? So our maximum sum that we can get is 10 ki power 14 only, right? So what we do is once our product becomes greater than 10 ki power 14, we will cap that value to 10 ki power 14 plus 1, right? We won't be storing values greater than 10 ki power 14 plus 1 for the product, right? Because else we have to face the situation of overflow of integer or overflow of long variable, right? So what we do is we will find the suffix product of all the indexes. That means suppose we are given an array 2, 5, 6, 7. So we find the suffix. So product after this element is 1. So here product is 7. Here 7 6 are 42. Here 42 into 5, that is 210. So we store all the products in a array that we call as suffix. And then what we do is we will iterate over this array, right? And we will make a some variable as 0. So at index this sum is 0, product is 210, both are not equal. So we will move to next index and we will update the sum. Now sum has become 2, sum is 2, product is 42, not equal. Then now sum will become 2 plus 5 and then we'll go to this. So sum is 10, product is 7, not equal. Then we move to the last, we'll update sum, it will become 16. So now sum is 16 and product is 1, not equal. So will be written -1. That is there is not any single index which is balanced, right? So the main thing was to avoid the state of overflow. So to avoid that, we won't be storing any product greater than 10 ki power 14, because our maximum sum can be up to 10 ki power 14 only, and for sum, and we want sum equal to product. So let's see the code. So first of all we have taken the limit of the product. So our sum can be up to 10 ki power 14, so that is our limit for the product. And then we are taking the suffix vector to store all the products from the last, right? And long product is equal to 1. Then in this loop we will be finding all the products from the last index, like 2 5 6 7 ऐसा कुछ है. Then we will be finding product from this side. So and if our product is greater than, if our product is greater than 10 ki power 14, then what we do is we store product as 10 ki power 14 plus 1, right? Because else we have to face the situation of overflow of long variable. and if it is this is not the case, then we'll be storing the direct product, right, in the suffix of I. And once we get all the suffix products, then what we do is we'll iterate over the array, and then initially our sum is 0. Then we check if sum is equal to suffix of I, we'll return that index. But if that is not the case, we'll add the current element to the sum and update our sum. And if we do not get any single index which is balanced, then we will return -1 in the end. So I hope you get this solution also. So let's move to the question number 3. So question number 3 is lead code 3863, that is minimum operations to sort a string, right? So in this question we are given a string s which consists of lowercase English letters, and what we can do is in one operation we can select any substring of s, means any substring means smaller part of s which is not entire string. That means we can't select the entire string. So we have to select, suppose this is a string, we can select a smaller part of string, and then we can sort that part, that substring, in ascending alphabetical order. And what we have to do is we have to return minimum number of operations which will be required to sort the string in ascending order, right? And if it is not possible to sort, then we have to return -1, right? So let's see some examples to get it more clearly. So first example that we are given is dog, right? DOG. So what we do is we'll take this part, this substring, that is OZ, and sort it. So it will become GO. So see, DGO. Isn't it sorted? Yes, it is sorted. So how many operations we have taken? We have taken only one operation. Let's see the example number 2. Next, in example 2 we have CARD, card, right? So we what we do is we first sort, take this first substring and then sort it, then it will become ACR. Now our string after one operation is ACRD. Now see, this is sorted, we'll take CRD, or we can say we can take RD, right? And then we sort it, so it will become ACDR. So how many operations? Two operations we have taken. Third example is GF. So what are the two possible substrings we have? Either we can take G or we can take F, but there is no point of sorting that. So there is no operations by which we can sort this string. So we have to return -1. So let's see the constraints. So string length can be up to 10 ki power 5. So again the same, either big O of n or n log n solution we have to think of, and it only consists of lowercase English letters. So let's see our approach. So what we do is we'll be starting with the impossible case, like when is it impossible for us to sort the string. So for that, if length of the string is 2, if the length of the string is 2 and the string is not sorted, then there is not any single operation by which we can sort the array. So in that case we will directly returning -1, right? So this is the only single case where we can't sort the string. So in other cases what we can do is we'll first find the sorted array, right? We'll find the sorted string. Let's say T is our sorted string. So once we get the sorted string, what we do is, suppose, see, let's see some examples to understand the different cases. So DACE. So what is the sorted string? Sorted string is ACDE. ACDE, right? So is the first character matching? No, first character is not matching. Is the last character matching? Yes, last character is matching. So can't we do is, like, can't we take this substring in and sort it in one operation, right? We can. So how many operations? One operation. Let's take the second, BCAD. Again the sorted is ABCD. Again the last one is matching, so we take the first part, that is 0 2 and -2, and sort it in one operation. So the first case is case 1. The first case is either first character or last character, or both first and last character of string s are equal to the sorted array, sorted string, sorry, sorted string. So either first character or last character or both are equal, then what we do is, then the output is 1. See how, So if the first character is equal, then what we do is we'll be sorting the string from index 1 to n minus 1 in one operation. Or if the last character is equal, then we'll be sorting the string from index 0 to n minus 2 in one operation. Or if the first and last both are equal, then we'll be sorting the string from 1 to n minus 2 in one operation. So if either the first is equal or the last is character is equal or both are equal, then the number of operations required is only one. So this is the first case we will be checking. Then the second case is neither the first character is equal nor the last character is equal. Then what we do is, suppose we are given a string DABC. So what is the sorted path? Sorted string. Sorted string is A, B, C, D. We checked first is not equal, last is also not equal. Then what we can do is, so now we have two parts. One part is from 0 to n minus 2, that is DAB. The second part is from 1 to n minus 1, ABC. So what we can do is, we can first sort the first part, that is from 0 to n minus 2. So now we get A, B, D, and the last is C. Now what we do is, now after that we'll be sorting it from 1 to n minus 1, 1 to n minus 1. So we get A, what is the sorted of BDC? It will be BCD. So is the string after these two operation, is it equal to a sorted string? Yes, is it equal to sorted string. So how many operations? Two operations, right? Then let's see one another example. Triple O L. The sorted is L triple O. So the first character is not equal, even the last characters are not equal. So what we do is, we'll sort from 0 to n minus 2. It will become 0 0 0, and then 1 to n minus 1. It will become the same string, but it is not sorted. So can we do it like this way also? First sort from 1 to n minus 1. Like first sort from, so see this. First sort this part. Then we get O L double O, right? 1 to n minus 1. Then 0 to n minus 2, 0 to n minus 2 yani this part. So we get L double O. So then we check whether our string is equal to the sorted one. The sorted one is L double O and it is also equal. So the number of operations are 2, right? So this is the second case. Either 0 to n minus 2 and then 1 to n minus 1, or 1 to n minus 1 and then 0 to n minus 2. And then we check whether the string that we get after these two operations is equal to the sorted string. So if it is equal to the sorted string, then the number of operations are 2. And the last case, at max 3 operations can be only there. Let's see how. In 3 operations, every string can be sorted, right? So let's see an example to understand this also. So we have suppose EDC. So what we have done is, we have taken this part, then we get DEC, then we have taken this part, then we get DCE, then again we have taken this part, so we get CDE. So it is sorted. So if, so what are the different cases? First case is n is equal to, first case is if it is directly sorted. If it is directly sorted, then we return 0. Then the second case, impossible case, if n is equal to 2 and it is not sorted, then we return -1. Then the third case is, case number 3 is that either the first character is equal or the last character is equal. If any one of those both are equal, then we'll be returning -1, that the number of operations required is 1. Else the third case, that the first character is not equal and last character is not equal, then what we do is, we'll sort from 0 to n minus 2 and then 1 to n minus 1, and then check if it is equal to the target, then the answer is 2. Or we'll first sort with from 1 to n minus 1 and 0 to n minus 2, right? First 1 to n minus 1 and then 0 to n minus 1, and again check if it is equal to target, then we return 2. If it is not, if we don't get sorted in any of these cases, then at max the answer is 3. So the possible answer can be 1 0 1 and 2 and 3. So we check this one. If this is not, then we check this one. If this is not also, then we check this one. Else the answer is 3. Or we have to check the -1 case also, right? So I hope I am able to explain you this question properly and all the possible cases, right? So let's move to the last question, which is LeetCode 3864, that is minimum cost to partition a binary string. So in this question we are given a binary string S, and two integers, e and enc cost and flat cost, right? And for each index I, suppose if s of I is equal to 1, that means that the ith element is sensitive, and if s of I is not equal to 1, that means if s of I equal to 0, that means it is not sensitive. And what we have to do is we have to partition the string, into different segments. Segments means smaller parts, and initially the entire string is one segment. Initially the entire string forms a single segment. So what we have to do is we have to check for a segment of length L. So suppose we are given a segment whose length is L, and the number of ones in this is x, right? X is sensitive element. Sensitive element means if s of I is 1, so the number of ones is x. So if x is equal to 0, if the number of ones in this segment is 0, then the cost of this segment is flat cost. Else, if the number of ones is greater than 0, then the cost is total length into number of ones into ENC cost, right? That is ENC cost. So this is the cost. So, and one more thing, if a segment has even length, then we can split into two continuous segment of equal length. So suppose if we are given 1 0 1 0, then we can split into two parts. But if a segment has odd length, we can't further split into two different segments, because we can break a segment into two segments of equal length only, and the cost of split is the sum of the cost of the left part and the sum of the cost of right part, right? And at the end what we have to do is we have to return a minimum possible total cost over all the valid partitions, right? So let's see some examples to understand it. So first is 1 0 1 0. So and ENC cost is 2 and flat cost is 1. So if x is equal to 0, then the cost is, I think, flat cost, right? Else the cost is length into x into ENC cost, right? So let's see what is the total cost of this. So length is 4 and number of ones is 2 and ENC cost is 2. So the cost is 4 to the 8, 8 to the 16. What if we break it into two parts, 1 0 and 1 0? So suppose we have broken it into two parts, 1 0 and 1 0. Now the cost of this is length is 2, number of ones is 1 and ENC cost is 2, so 4. Similarly for this also 4. So either we take 16 or 4 plus 4, that is 8. But what if we further break these segments? If we further break, we get 1 0. From this we get 1 0. So what is the cost of this? The cost of this is length is 1, number of 1 is 1 and 2, so we get 2. And for this we get directly 1. For this we get 2 and for this we get 1. So total cost is 6. So what is the minimum one? Minimum one is a 6. So answer is 6. Let's see the next example. Next example is 1 0 1 0. That is the same example, but here ENC cost is 3 and flat cost is 10. So let's see the total cost. Total cost is length is 4 2 and ENC cost is 3. 4 to the 8, 8 3 the 24, right? What if we break it into two halves, 1 0 and 1 0? So what is the cost? So 2 into 1 into 3, that is 6. For it also it is 6, so 12. Let's break it further. If we'll break it further, we get 1 0 and 1 0. So the cost of this is 1 and the cost of this 0 is flat cost, that is 10. So for this also 1 and for this 10. So if we break it further, then the cost is 11, and if we take it as one whole unit, then the cost is 6. So we'll take minimum one, 6. So from here also we'll take minimum of 6 comma 11, so we'll take 6 only. So and for this whole, the total cost is 24, but if we split into two parts, it is 12. So the answer is 12 only. So for, let's see the example 3, we have 0 0. So ENC cost is 1 and flat cost is 2. So there is no ones in it, so directly we will be taking flat cost, that is 2. So let's see the constraints. So the string length is up to 10 की power 5. So again we have to think of some approach of big O of n or either n log n, right? and it consists of 0 and 1, and ENC cost and flat cost is up to 10 to the power 5. So let's see the approach for this problem. So what we do is we'll be using divide and conquer method. Divide and conquer method using recursion. So suppose we have a segment which is from index L to R. Now what are the possible possibilities for this segment? So what we do is we'll first find the number of ones in this segment. So the number of ones is x, and the length of the segment, length capital R is R minus L plus 1. This is the length of the segment, so we'll find this. So now the direct cost, if x is equal to 0, direct cost is flat cost. But if x is not equal to 0, then the direct cost is length into x into ENC cost. So we find that direct cost for this. And if suppose length is odd, so we can't further break it, so we have to take the direct cost. But if length is even, so we can further split it. So we'll be splitting it into two parts, left part and the right part. Then we take the cost of the left segment and the cost of the right segment, and the splitted cost is the sum of the both the cost. Then what we do is we'll take the minimum of the direct cost and the split cost if length is even, and if length is odd, then we directly have to take the direct cost, right? So this is will be our approach. So what we do is we'll be using recursion. So we'll be using a function that will be taking the segment from L to R, and it will return the minimum cost for substring S L segment S, that is L to R. So left segment will be from L to mid, and right segment will be from the mid plus 1 to R. Now the next question is how to find the number of ones. How to find the number of ones in a segment fastly. So for that what we can do is we will be using prefix sum. So prefix of I will store the number of ones from index 0 to I minus 1, right? And what we need is we need the number of ones from L to R. So for that, to find number of ones in L to R, what we do is we will take prefix of R plus 1, that is number of ones from 0 to R, and minus that from 0 to L minus 1. So we get number of ones from L to R, right? So this way we'll be finding the number of ones directly. So let's see a dry run of this solution. So initially we are given 1 0 1 0. So in recursion, so it's an even length. So direct cost is length is 4, number of ones is 2 and 3. So direct cost is 24, and the splitted cost is 1 0 1 0. So from here again we see the direct cost for this part is 6. For this part also direct cost is 6. Again we split this part into two parts, 1 and 0. Same way we'll split into two parts, 1 and 0. So now the length is odd length, so we'll be taking the direct cost. So direct cost for 1 is 3, and direct cost for this 10 is 10. For this one again cost is 3 and this 10 is 10. So we'll getting, so here direct cost is 6 and the splitted cost and the split cost is 13. So what we do is we'll take minimum of 6 and 13, so we'll return 6 here. Similarly here direct cost is 6, splitted cost is 13, so we'll again return 6 here. Now here direct cost is 24 and the splitted cost is 6 plus 6 12, so we return minimum of 12 and 24, that is 12. So we get the answer as 12 for this one. So this is the dry run. So let's see the code. So we have taken some global variables, that is ENC and flat cost and prefix, and then what we have do is we are what we call assigning the n cost value and flat cost value to the global variables, and then we'll storing all the prefix counts of ones in the global prefix value, and then we call the solve function for the bigger segment, that is the whole string, that is 0 to n minus 1, right? And then in the solve function what we are doing is we are taking the segment from L to R, and then we are finding the length of the segment, and then the number of ones, length, number of ones, and then we are finding the direct cost. So direct cost is if ones is equal to 0, the number of ones that we have find is 0, then we take the direct cost as the flat cost. Else that cost is length into number of ones into enc cost, right? So we'll be taking that. And if length is odd length is odd, then we can't further split it, so we'll return the direct cost. Else what we do is, else we split into left part and right part, and find the minimum of the left part, find the minimum cost of the right part, and then add that one. And then for the this for segment L to R, we check the minimum of direct cost or the minimum of splitted cost, and we return the minimum one of that, right? So the time complexity is big of n log n, and the space complexity is O of log n, for because we are using a recursion stack, plus O of n for the prefix also, prefix array, right? So I hope you also get this solution. So if you liked all the four solutions, so please make sure to like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.